And with that fancy open, we welcome you to Wake Up Charlotte to Go Olympics edition, where we cover all things Winter Games in Beijing happening today, maybe a little bit last night, going into tomorrow. Let us know what sport you are watching, what part you're enjoying, disappointments, shared successes. Either way, let us know. This morning, we're going to talk about hockey, both men's and women. Men's, there's some disappointment there, as you probably know at this point. Women, we're looking forward to a big matchup later tonight. And then we've got Slopestyle, where we secured both the silver and gold. We got figure skating. I don't even need to tell you about the figure skating. You already know the controversy there. It's well documented, and a lot of people really frustrated about that. We've got all that coming up over the course of the next few minutes. We will begin with the men's hockey, where the U.S. men's team fell to Slovakia in a shootout in the end. It was actually looking really good for the men. Team USA there for a while. It was there at the very end where they couldn't pull it together. But we should say there's a difference in this year's team compared to previous years, and that might be, some say, is the reason they didn't do quite as well.
Yeah, well, the good news here with all of these being teenagers, college players, no NFL players. They're young, so they can come back in 4 years and compete, right?
NHL, National Hockey League.
What did I say?
NFL.
There were
NFL.
I can. There were, in fact, also you're right. There were no NFL players either. That is.
You guys knew what I meant.
That is an important distinction. There were no NFL players in this hockey team. Do not let somebody tell you.
This live
don't
stream.
Let somebody tell you anything else.
Well, yes, they're all college players, and so the good thing is they can come back in 4 years or another 4 years and compete. They're so young.
I think it gives other people opportunities too, because we know the professional athletes. This actually gives some of these younger kids to maybe be recognized by the NFL, or maybe some that are even younger than that, a chance for
NHL.
You just said NFL.
Did I do NFL? You got it in my head.
I think we have all of our Super Bowl coverage in our head.
NHL, join the NHL. I had to get mine in too. Plus, I just really want to picture NFL players with pads out in the ice, because that's kind of what it is.
One thing about the next Olympics, more than likely, NHL will be back. Our pro players will be back in the next Olympics, and we will be dominant once again. Because
where is Nick Carboni when we need him?
When you miss out on the pros, and these guys are as good as it gets, then your competition is pretty amazing. You know, those European countries are all very good at hockey. I'm surprised some of them aren't in the NFL.
And we should say that even going in, the U.S. was not favored to win because of this change, because the NHL's decision to sort of withhold their players from competing this year. So going in, we were sort of the underdog anyway, and it was sort of expected to sort of end this way. So that's an explanation there.
The women's tonight too. So
let's talk about women.
Yeah, women's tonight. Sarah, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, the U.S. team, they're going to go up against its longtime rival Canada in the gold medal game. They had a 4-1 win over Finland on Monday. So tonight is the finals, 11:10 p.m. right here on WCNC Charlotte. And this is pretty crazy. Since the women's sport was introduced at the Olympics in 1998, the U.S. and Canada are the only teams to have won gold. And they've been in every final except for 2006, with Canada holding a 3-2 Olympic edge. So, U.S. and Canada, they're just the hockey players, that's for sure.
One sidebar to that, speaking of Canada and the United States, this is not hockey, but Canada won in curling. And the reason is curling in Canada is like a national pastime up there, just like hockey is. The two biggest countries in the world for hockey are the United States and Canada. That's why we're always so good in most cases.
Yeah. Well, no, and history bears that out. You're right, Larry. I mean, it's usually comes down to U.S. and Canada, even when it comes to women's hockey. Again, watch that tonight, WCNC Charlotte, 11:10. I feel like this has been a bit of a sleeper, but this one's going to be a big one that a lot of folks are talking about. All right, let's talk slopestyle. A gold and a silver for Team USA in men's ski slopestyle. Alex Hall winning gold, and then Nick Gepper winning silver. Gepper won the silver, same event back in 2018. Also won bronze in Sochi. So I guess this is his third Olympics, placing a medal. Both guys very impressive.
I was watching Slopestyle, and I got to tell you, it's these athletes. What they do is like acrobatics on skis, and the technique that they use, and the fact that they get such elevation and do all these twists and turns and land and ski out of it is amazing to see.
Yeah, what was the move that you said, Ben? It was like the double pretzel back, something crazy.
The pretzel, something the pretzel that I believe that Alex Hall did that it's never been done.
It's crazy.
And he like the pretzel maneuver, I think is what it's called. The rest of us, pretzel maneuver is something probably very different as far as
with cheese or mustard.
Exactly, while you're enjoying the Super Bowl on Sunday night. But for him, it was something entirely different.
Yeah, and all this morning, Ruby was kind of sharing the story of Nick Gepper. He talked about contemplating suicide after winning a medal in Sochi. He had some addiction problems that he had to get treated for, and now to see him just at the bottom of the barrel to turn things around in his life and to be such an example to so many who are struggling with addiction that you can overcome it. And now he's on just the biggest stage of the world. What an inspiring story for sure. That should be a movie.
And let that be a lesson to us all. And I say us all because these, Olympians come back home. And a lot of them really struggle. I mean, think about any sort of small highlight you've had in your life, whether it was, a wedding or something like that, and sort of the down feeling you feel afterwards, because times that by 1,100 times. Like these people look forward to this for so long, and then afterwards often really struggle. Life post Olympics, that's all they've known, and I hope it starts a broader conversation for supporting these people, and making sure that they feel supported, most importantly, no matter how well they do or don't do in the Olympics. All right, let's talk figure skating. It is a very, I feel like figure skating is always a very polarizing sport. I feel like this year, given the geopolitical sort of situation in the world, and given Russia's stance with its anti-doping problems, it's just especially controversial, Sarah.
Yeah, so if you missed it last night, Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva dominating the first half of the women's individual event. Now, they all have to skate again, they combine those scores, but officials cleared her to compete earlier this week despite testing positive for that banned heart substance before the game. So a lot of people talking about this, very controversial. In the short program, she did beat out 3 American women from Team USA. Karen Chen, very tearful walking off the ice. She fell in her performance, and teammates Alyssa Liu and Mariah Bell outperforming her last night, and they advanced to Thursday's free skate final. But what's interesting too, and we talked about this yesterday in the live stream, that if Kamila Valieva does medal, which it looks like she's going to, she's still in first place. And if you watch her performance, she fell last night too. And she's still gotten first place. But they said if she medals, they aren't going to have a medal ceremony if she's on the stand because of all the controversy with her, which I think how sad for the other Olympians that are receiving medals not being able to go through a medal ceremony.
One thing I noticed this morning watching the replay of that was the commentators.
Yeah, Taylor Lipinski and Johnny Weir.
They were overtly displeased and made it known that this was wrong and that she shouldn't be there. And I don't blame them, because this is entirely wrong. My question is, or my point is, was this done to appease Russia because of the current international situation, to lessen whatever? Because she should not be allowed to skate. There's no doubt about it.
I think it was Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir who were maybe talking about it afterwards, and they basically said, well, all that we can say is that was Valieva's performance, and that's basically all we can say. We're not going to. Tara Lipinski even said, at one point last year, I said she is the single best ice skater I've ever seen in my life. And she said after the last few weeks, it calls everything into question.
Yeah.
Not only her abilities, Russia's intentions, the credibility of the Olympics as an organization and what they allow. And you have thousands of athletes who are there who do not have this problem. Valieva may be a wonderfully pleasant, talented person. But you have all these other people who worked really hard, just as hard to be there, who have not had this issue. And from countries who have not had this issue that Russia has had with the Olympics as far as doping and the such.
And Sha'Carri Richardson came out with that statement because she tested positive for marijuana. She admitted to doing that after her mother passed away. And so she was disqualified. So, of course, she's speaking out upset too, saying, okay, why did she get approval?
You can't bend the rules.
After they performed this last time, I will be interested to see if there is any sort of protest from some of the fellow athletes. Like if it looks like she's going to medal and it looks like she will easily, is there going to be any sort of protest by other athletes saying, okay, either I'm not going to stand on the podium, or I'm not going to go to this, or I'm not going to that, or I don't know. Because a lot of people are understandably angry about it.
It's disappointing that there's controversy because it really should be the rules are rules. That if she just failed the drug test, didn't get to do that, lesson learned. And now we're stuck talking about this. But still, all the other competitors are doing great. And the Olympics, all in all, is one of the best times for inspiration and these wonderful victorious stories. That's disappointing. That's going to be a sidebar for at least this section of it.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks. Hey, listen, coming up, starting at 8 o'clock right here on WCNC Charlotte, you got a lot of good stuff. You've got the aerial final freestyle skiing. And then at 8:30, you got short track, day 6 of that. 9 p.m. skiers take the half pipe. And then 9:30, Michaela Schifrin participating once again in alpine skiing. And then we mentioned earlier that you've got the women's hockey. That's starting at 11:10 tonight. So for all you night owls, pop the popcorn, perhaps pour yourself a drink if that's your thing, and enjoy, because that promises to be a big matchup. And the best part about it all, if you're not a night owl, you can wake up with us tomorrow morning, and we'll have a recap of all of it. And then we'll rehash it all right here on Wake Up Charlotte to Go.
Yeah, that's the most exciting part of it. Is the rehash.
Obviously. And we'll say NHL, not NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too as well. So,
and to confirm again, there are no NFL players playing for the U.S. hockey team.
As far as we know, no NFL.
Super Bowl.
That's true. All right, folks. Hey, listen, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Roberta, thanks for your comments from Canada, you say. Absolutely. They're our neighbors to our north.
Exactly.
So
we're friends.
Yeah, exactly.
We're cool.
So tune in tomorrow morning. We'll see you back here around 8 a.m. for Wake Up Charlotte to Go Olympics edition.
Oh, yeah.